Hey guys, and welcome to an epic showdown between two warriors of legend. On the left hand side, representing the Sons of the Mountain, we have Dr. Jellyfish, and on the right, ODM's very own The Green One, as my favourite dino boys are being brought to the battlefield. But that's a grudging, calling anyone your favourite apart from the Dowie. And Dr. Jellyfish is going to be trying to punish my hopes and dreams of Lizardmen unification, and at the end, kind of taking over the universe as a duck and lizard god. But the Dwarfs, they have a special place in my heart, so I'm not too mad about that whatsoever. For the forces of the Dowie, we do have the, quite frankly, disgusting Master Engineers. And why do I call these two disgusting? Well, they are so good if used correctly. They do a bucket ton of long-range AP damage, and their fiery ring of authority can clean out an infinite number of skinks. In the main battle line, it is going to be miners with blasting charges, also guarding the flanks, and in the rear, we do have some longbeards with great weapons, which I think is quite a nice pick here. Their added armor piercing should be able to cleave asunder the thick, scaly skin of both Dino and Saurus alike. Lovely little central formation here of the double Thunderers, escorting a unit of Iron Drakes with Warhammer torpedoes, and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are there just to give them a little bit more of an extra buffer. We do have a cannon with a silver chevron, and that can do some really lovely long-range damage. One massive threat to this build, though, would be Pterodons. Pterodons could easily bomb rush the Thunderers, and then it'd be all kinds of trouble. But the Dowie defensive geometry build, aka the beautiful, well-crafted box, is quite a nightmare for the Dino boys to deal with. Now, for the dinosaurs, they do have triple chameleon stalkers, or guard in the rear and looking to push down on those flanks. We do actually have Pterodon riders, so we have two of them. If they get their rock drops correctly, it could be a bad day for all Dowie kind. In the main battle line, it is a mixture of red-crested skinks and Saurus warriors, which is kind of normal in this matchup. You look to swarm and envelop your enemy as quickly as possible. We also have the Cohort of Sotek here in the middle, and some more Pterodon riders. We do have double Basilon with Arc of Sotek looking to be, armor piercing, clear out the infantry, and bring that terror, though Dowie tend to not like to run away too much. And then we have the mighty, the beautiful, the majestic Kroxigor Ancient, one of the coolest looking models in the entire game. No one can take that away from him. He looks so freaking badass, and he's got decent AP. Decent couple of items as well in the Amulet of Itzel, as well as the Horn of Kygor, though he's not bringing the horn today. We also have a Skink Priest of Beast coming in with Wyson's Wild Form and a Manticore Summon, and it is going to be a straight up bomb rush to the Dowie formation and try to rip their souls from their bodies. Now, the poor Arc of Sotek is taking quite a few shots to the flank there, and yeah, that's going to hurt quite badly. A couple of hundred HP chunked off already. In the back, you can see the Chameleon Stalkers actually getting some pretty good engagements. They're hitting the Longbeards, so in quite a tightly packed formation. They managed to get all their darts off, do about half the HP damage to the unit of Longbeards. But very important to note, they do not kill a lot of models with those explosive charges. These guys have 70 models left. There's a bucket ton of damage output they can still bring to the battle line. It's same as happening on this unit of Longbeards. Now the Chameleon Stalkers want to retreat and try to get on top of these Dragonback Slayers if at all possible. That would be a fantastic target for them. You can see some beautiful uses of the fiery ring there going down the Cohort of Sotek. Well-placed Refuse to Die does go down, so they're going to not lose any models because of it, but they've taken so much work. And the poor Kroxigor Ancient hasn't got anywhere near the battlefield yet. He's been picked apart by the Master Engineers, who are quite, they did so much long-range AP there, plus the support of the cannon. He's taking quite a pound and needs to fall back to safety and come in kind of in the later stages of the game. Manticore has been summoned, maybe looking to apply some pressure to Thoric Ironbrow. I didn't go over him today, but I feel like every time I show a dwarf build, just expect Thoric Ironbrow, unless I kind of point out he has quite a few of the decent runes: Slowness, Speed, and Wrath and Ruin. The Chameleon Stalkers are now forced their way onto the back line, getting onto those Dragonback Slays. This is really good target priority right here from the Dino player. They will lose, but they will do some pretty decent damage and hopefully allow some of the more expensive units to get in there and dish out the pain. Poor Kroxigor Ancient is still taking shots. It looks like the Master Engineer is pushed all the way forward, trying to pick them apart. And even though they're on 0 kills, they're already up to 340 and 448 damage value. Now, the miners are just about holding in the front. Dragonfire Pass Warriors have decided to pull back a little bit and try to protect, because that Manticore is being a nuisance, but it's so close to breaking, and there it goes. It does indeed break. That is some good work as well by the Iron Drake. Trollhammer Torpedoes still being alive in the centre. Thunderers are trying to dish out the pain to the Pterodons. They are shooting basically directly up, which I can tell you is not fun for anyone. The other Thunderer unit is doing some decent damage to these slowed Pterodons. Master Rune of Slowness going down. Unfortunately, Red Crested Skinks are well and truly cats among the heavily armoured pigeons at the moment. Croxor Ancient is slowly lumbering his way back towards the battlefield. He wants to get involved, but there is still this cannon online and operational, which can certainly apply some lovely damage. Pterodon Riders attempting to finish off the Thunderers, but not able to quite do it. Lovely use of the snakes combined with the red-crested skinks to try to whittle down the Dragonback Slayers. And the Bastiodon's got some moves on him. He's duking back and forth, taking a few hits from the Trollhammer torpedoes, but nowhere near as much damage as he would have taken if he had sat still. Where is the other Bastiodon? Okay, the other Bastiodon's nice and healthy. Gary's going to be coming in from the flank, so don't worry, lads, I've got this. You can see Saurus are also starting to push back and drive away the Thunderers, which is beautiful play because the red-crested skinks should rally and be able to sandwich this unit. So that's probably a dead unit of Thunderers. Pterodons are going to be swooping down upon the cannon, which is silver chevrons now, and is still launching shots in after the Croxor Ancient. He's not been able to get close to the battlefield. My poor beloved Croxor Ancient. He's so cool, and he's done absolutely nothing so far. And those little bullets from those Master Engineers just pop, pop, pop all day long will start to make a pretty big effect on the Croxor, who's been flung to the ground though. Only 345 HP remains. Master Engineer is ranging fast right now, and he's moving up a big old shot back of the dome down to 179 HP. One more shot and he will be finished off, but I think the Master Engineer might be out of range now, but the cannon isn't. Luckily for all lizard kind, it does indeed miss. We do see a rune go down. It is the Master Rune of Speed, increasing the prowess and speed of these Dragonback warriors. And they should do a decent job up on top of the Ferromanticore as well as the Ark of Sotek, which in itself is getting away with its little snake play, which is obviously always good. The Slayer's going to take considerable damage to that, and the Lizardmen are well and truly all over the Dwarf back line right now. That cannon is finally shut down for good. One of the units of Thunderers, I think, got deleted, and the Iron Drakes are still alive though. The Iron Drakes are doing pretty good. 20 models left on them. They can do some pretty nice long-range damage value. Red-crested skinks are floating over here trying to save the Ark of Sotek, and you can see a big fiery ring coming down twice, back-to-back fire rings on the Saurus warriors, doing some nice damage. Warson's Wild Form has been popped on them. A very underused spell in my opinion. Pretty good against the Dowie, and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass with the Rune of Doom just about holding on. Now, the Bastiodon is going after Thoric, which is both good and bad. He hits pretty hard. Unfortunately, Thoric has a very good melee defense of 50, whereas the Bastiodon only has a melee attack of a pitiful 22, so he's not going to be hitting that often. Pterodon Riders have returned to the field. It looks like these guys actually still have their rock drops on them. The Skink Priest is alive as well. Unfortunately, our Croxor Ancient is somewhere in the trees or dead. I'm not quite sure. We'll assume he's alive somewhere. At least that's what the hopes of the nation say. Load more rocks do come down, relatively well placed as well, although doing some decent damage to the Saurus warriors actually. Just as I say, relatively well placed. I think that mainly just killed Saurus, which isn't too great. Iron Drakes are in a real pickle right now. They've been hunted down by the Pterodons, with Whiting's Wild Form on them, increasing their armor piercing by 25%. Their armor and their base weapon damage should be able to pierce the thick Grombrol armor of the Iron Drakes. However, longbows with great weapons are here to support, and the Lizardmen are trying to go over here to drag down the enemy, but the Master Engineers continuously launching those shots, and oh, what a placement. The Rune of Raphamarine coming down, doing some massive damage, sending Saurus flying in all different directions. Ark of Sotek simply cannot hurt Thoric. It's done basically no damage. I mean, Thoric hasn't done that much damage back either. It's kind of just been like a, hey, we'll stand here, let the other lads finish it off, and we're kind of just chill together. I think the Ark needs to get back in here into the main fight, and you're going to have to drag down Thoric with Saurus Warriors and all the Skinks, if there's any left. But it does look like the Lizardmen starting to run a little bit thin on the ground. They did get into that back line of Dowie forces, but what did it cost them? Pretty much everything. We still have the Skink Priest alive. I think both Manticore Summons have indeed been used. The Pterodons are okay in melee combat, but not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. Still a lot of ammunition, but both Master Engineers alive as well as Thoric. And it does look like the Ark of Sotek just gave up. It's like, you know what? I don't want to fight you anymore. I'm done. I'm going to come over here and kill some infantry. I mean, that's what the Ark of Sotek is good for, right? It's up to 27 kills so far. Let's check its damage value. Doing pretty solid, up to 720 damage value, and rising because of all those snakes whipping around and piercing the boots of these dwarvish warriors. I guess I had leather boots, not iron ones on today. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass have been forced back. Master Engineers are even moving into combat, and it looks like the Lizardmen will be bowing out. A really epic scrap. I honestly thought Green 1 did pretty good, forcing his way into the back line, but losing your Lord like that can be so rough, and I love the Ancient Croxor. He looks so badass, but today he got a big fat 0 across the board. No kills, no damage dealt, no damage value, and it was such a deciding factor because he had nothing to kill Thoric. If you have an Ancient Crocscore in there, he'll certainly be able to dish out some pain, but nonetheless, he did a really good job. Likewise did Dr. Jellyfish, managing to just about secure his back line and delaying, constantly keeping these Thunderers moving and online, trying to make the Lizardmen pay with blood for every step they made, trying to take out these ranged units, and I can guarantee you these guys got a lot of damage value. The Iron Drake's still alive at the end, 1,200 damage value. Now, I will go into damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in a moment, but before we get there, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up, subscribe as well to the channel for more Total War Warhammer content into the future, and there's a billion links down below if you would like to check them out, to my Twitch, to my Patreon, to my Discord where you can submit replays just like Dr. Jellyfish did, and all kind of manner of things. Also, I'm going to do a full announcement video on it tomorrow. I was going to be busy tomorrow, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow as its own video. But I'm involved with an event with Creative Assembly called Teach Me Total War. I'm going to be live over on their channel, so make sure to check out the video I'm going to do about it tomorrow, and feel free to come through and support, because I'm going to be incredibly scared on the day. So it'd be cool to have a few, you know, familiar faces there just screaming quack and chucking a load of bread everywhere. We need to convert more people to the great duck gods. Well played to Dr. Jellyfish, Thoric Ironbrow, a big pain in the butt as he always is to his opponents, but much loved amongst the Dwarvish community. 850 damage value, certainly not too bad for a support character who did some really good support, but these Master Engineers, 1,000 damage value and 1,190, just constantly hounding and harassing that poor Crocscore Ancient alongside the cannon as well. And those fiery rings, man, that Master Engineers can be really quite disgusting. Again, they are relatively snipeable though. They do come with the flash bomb, which is nice, but they're not the tankiest dwarfs in the world, so it is possible to get rid of them as well. Now, the miners did pretty solid. 335, 572, 340, and 300 damage value. 580 on the Warriors Dragonfire Pass. Great weapons, one unit just got obliterated from the rip and didn't do much at all. Only 200 damage value. The other one, though, 1,227. Not shabby, considering they took a lot of damage early on from those Chameleon Stalkers. Now, the Dragonback Slayers, 1,165 damage value, 121 kills. Such a strong unit. I recommend them so much to anyone out there looking to play Dwarfs. They're one of their best units. 310 damage value, 583 on the Thunderers, so they were their guns were quieted quite nicely by the green one. Not the most value, but it allowed the other range units to shine. 1.2k damage value on the Iron Drakes, gaining a chevron, and the double silver cannon with 1,000 damage value, bringing the pain not only to that Crocscore Ancient, but also the Arcs of Sotek. As for the green one, pretty cool build, honestly. I like it quite a bit. I think Pterodons are a must-have here, because if your opponent goes Gyrocopters as Lizardmen and you don't have Pterodons to chase them down, it's just an auto-lose. So I do like the pick here of coming with the triple Pterodons. Not the most damage value on them. I also like the combination of Whiten's Wild Form, though, trying to buff such units so they're a bit more better in combat with their prowess. Arcs of Sotek got 838 and 828 damage value, which isn't amazing, but it's not garbage either. You know, this one still had a lot of life left in him, but unfortunately he did have to break there. Code of Sotek were dealt with really nicely there by those Master Engineers. 291 damage value. Sorcerers, 1.1k, 630, and 1.1k again damage value. Lovely work by them. They can chew through miners all day long, and the Great Open Longbeards kind of getting hammered a little bit by the Chameleon Stalkers allowed them to shine. Now, despite that hammering, how did these guys do? 544, 573, and 459 damage value. None of them paying for themselves. Requested Skinkies did okay, 420 and 560 damage value. Skink Priest, of course, isn't here to get that value. He's here instead to support. And the poor Crocscore Ancient pouring out for the homie, man. That's upset me quite a bit. If someone can send me a replay with a Crocscore Ancient getting like 4k damage value to cheer me up, that would be greatly appreciated. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a good fun cast. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay